Hi everyone. Hope you all are good. We are here for grade 8 math. You can find all the lessons or on aplusstudents.com. You have to log in there using your email address and password as provided by the administrator. Then you have to select math from the subject tab. Scroll down to grade 8 math and then click on view all lessons. There you can find a list of the chapters. We're going to start with the chapter proportional relationships. We're going to start with the lesson. Find the constant of proportionality from a table. Identify graphs of proportional relationships. Find the constant of proportionality from a graph. Write equation for proportional relationships. So please make sure you have your notebook and pencil so that you can note down the important examples and definitions as well. Here I am on grade 8 math. The chapter we are on right now is proportional relationships. Let's just start with the lesson. Find the constant of proportionality from a table. This table shows how the total number of appetizer recipes Kate knows depends on the number of weeks she attends culinary school. How many appetizer recipes does Kate learn per year, per week? So the number of weeks are 13 and the number of appetizers are 13. Then the number of weeks are 19 and the appetizers are also 19. So you have to calculate the constant of variation that would be y over x. So 13 over 13 is 1 and 19 over 19 is 1. So the correct option is 1. Let's start with the test questions. We need to calculate the constant of variation that would be y over x. The table shows how the total number of books Manuel has read depends on the number of months he has been part of a book club. How many books does Manuel read each month? So you have to calculate the constant of variation that would be y over x. So 7 over 7 that is 1 and 15 over 15 that is 1. So that means each month he is reading one book. Option number 1 is the correct option, that is one book. The table shows how the total pages of notes in Henry's notebook depends on the number of hours he spent in class. How many pages of notes does Henry take during an hour of class? So you have to do y over x, that is 10 over 2, 10 over 2 is 5, and 15 over 3, that is also 5. So the constant of variation is 5. The correct option is option number 1, that is 5 pages. The table shows how the amount of tape Mary has used is related to the number of presents she has wrapped. How many centimeters of tape does Mary use to wrap each present? That is y over x, 6 over 2, 18 over 6. That is 3 centimeters. Option number 1 is the correct option. Option number 1 is the correct option. This table shows how the total number of quizzes Lauren has ever taken in high school depends on the number of weeks she has attended school this quarter. How many quizzes does Lauren take per week? That is 4 quizzes. Option number 2 is the correct option. This table shows how the cost of Copper's graduation picnic depends on the number of attendees. What is the cost per attendee? That is $2. Option number one is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is identify graphs of proportional relationships. This equation describes the relationship between x and y. Y equals 2x. You have to find the missing values. Let's just start with the test questions because they are already solved. This equation describes the relationship between x and y. Y equals 2x. X is 1, y is 2. You have to match 1, 2, 2, 4. Y is 2, x is 2, y is 4, x is 3, y is 6, and x is 4, y is 8. Option number 2 is the correct option. Option number 2 is the correct option. This equation describes the relationship between x and y. Y equals 3x. Zero zero 132639. 00132639. Option number 1 is the correct option. Option number 1 is the correct option. This equation describes the relationship between x and y. Y equals 4x. Y equals 4x. You have to match the table of values with a graph. X is 2, y is 8. Y is 3, x is 12. X is 4, y is 16. Option number 1 is the correct option. That is 2, 8, 3, 12, 4, 16. Option number 1 is the correct option. Y equals 6x. Option number 2 is the correct option. That is the graph that match with the table of values 0, 0, 1, 6, 2, 12, and 3, 16. Option number 2 is the correct option. This equation describes a relationship between x and y equals 5x. So, which is the correct option? X is 1, y is 5, x is 2. No, that is not the correct option. Option number 2 is the correct option. Y equals 4x. X is 2. Option number 1 is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let's just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is find the constant of proportionality from a graph. This graph shows how the amount of dough Malia has prepared is related to the number of hours she has spent working at the bakery. What is the constant of variation? You have to find a constant of variation. You can select any 2 point on the graph. Basically, you have to calculate the slope. Slope is equal to change in y divided by change in x. That is 50 over 20. The slope is 2.5. Let's just start with the test questions. This graph shows how the total number of quizzes Charlie has ever taken in high school depends on the number of weeks he has attended school this quarter. What is the constant of variation? So select any 2 points on the graph. Mm, 4 and 6, 0 and 0. So the slope is change in y divided by change in x. That is 1.5 quizzes per week. Option number 1 is the correct option. That is 1.5 quizzes per week. This graph shows how the total number of pieces Pecco knows how to sing depends on the number of weeks he has voice lessons. Mm, 60 over 40. Slope is change in y divided by 40, sorry, that is 40, 60 not. 1.5 again it is. That is 1.5 pieces per week. Option number 1 is the correct option. This graph shows how the total amount of paper Shad's office has recycled depends on the number of weeks since they started the new recycling plan. What is the constant of variation? The constant of variation is 2 kilograms per week. Option number 2 is the correct option. That is 2 kilograms per week. This graph shows how the cost of Alexa's retirement party depends on the number of guests. What is the constant of variation? That is $5 per guest. Option number 2 is the correct option. This graph shows how the amount of dough Malia has prepared is related to the number of hours she has spent working at the bakery. That is 2.5 kilograms per hour. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. Write equations for proportional relationships. Fill in the missing number to complete the linear equation that gives the rule for this table. So we have to use the equation that is y equals mx plus b. Select any point from the table You need to calculate the value of b, that is b equals 0. So the equation is y equals mx plus b, y equals 19x plus 0. So the equation is y equals 19. Let's just start with the test questions. Fill in the missing number to complete the linear equation that gives the rule for the table. We are going to use the equation that is y equals mx plus b. So here the slope is 12 because the x values are changing by 1 and y values are changing by 12. So the slope m equals 12, right? So y equals 12x plus b. Use any pair of value and calculate the value of b. Y equals 12, x equal 1. 12 minus 12 is 0, so b is 0. The equation is y equals 12x. The correct option is option number 1, that is y equals 12x. Fill in the missing number of to complete the linear equation that gives the rule for this table. Use the equation y equals mx plus b. The slope is 23. Y equals 23x plus b. You need to calculate the value of b. So you have to do, I'm going to use the pair of value 1 and 23. Y is 23, x is 1, b equals 23 minus 23. So b equals 0. So the equation is y equals 23x plus 0. So y equals 23. Option number 1 is the correct option, that is y equals 23. Option number 1 is the correct option. Fill in the missing number to complete the linear equation that gives the rule of for this table. So which is the correct option? That is y equals 16x. Option number 2 is the correct option. Fill in the missing number to complete the linear equation that gives the rule for this table. So which is the correct option? That is y equals 10x. Option number 1 is the correct option. Fill in the missing number to complete the linear equation that gives the rule for this table. That is y equals 13x. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. So we were working on grade 8 math. The chapter we were working on is proportional relationships. The lessons we have covered today are find the constant of proportionality from a table, identify graphs of proportional relationships, find the constant of proportionality from graph, write equation for proportional relationships. So please make sure you have your notebook and pencil so that you can note down the important examples and definitions as well. So please make sure before the next session you can complete all the practice questions for the lessons we just did. That is your homework until next session. So if you need more help with any of the lesson, you can simply click on the live chat button. Tutors are available there to help you, or either you can write down the questions in the chat box. I'm here to answer all your questions and confusions if you have any. So you can please ask questions if you have any. Okay, then that's all for today.